Let's go. Here we are. We're back. The 49ers. The 49ers. Yes, the 49ers have some great news for our timeline. They hired a new special teams coordinator, Brant Boyer. We back. I hope the audio is good this time. Brant Boyer. He was the special teams coordinator for the Jets. From 2016 to 2024. He coached with them for a long time. Now, let me take a look at this. There's a lot of news on this, right? There's a lot of things we could talk about. We did talk about, some of the players that could possibly follow suit. Maybe there's different coaches. So that's the great thing of having Robert Saleh as your defense coordinator. He's got a good affinity, right, of players that could join him, coaches that can join him. He's going to fix this staff with people that he knows. Players might join Robert Saleh, and we'll talk about those guys. But let's talk about Brant Boyer, the San Francisco 49ers, and head coach Kyle Shanahan today announced that Brant Boyer has been named the team's special teams coordinator. Boyer is 53 years old. He joins the 49ers after spending the previous 9 seasons as a special teams coordinator for the New York Jets. During his Jets tenure from 2016 to 2024, Boyer led a special teams unit that ranked tied for second in total touchdowns with 9, second in block punts 8, and tied for 5th in special team points scored 63, and opponent kickoff return average 21.8. So this is through his career. Pretty good. Under Boyer's guidance, 2 players, wide receiver Braxton Berrios, 2022, and wide receiver Andre Roberts in 2018, earned Associated Press first-team All-Pro honors as returners, while 3 players, cornerback Justin Hardy in 2023, Roberts 2019, and kicker Jason Myers in 2019 made Pro Bowl appearances. So he's a pretty good special teams coach. He's had some standout players through the years. He's got experience. That's what Kyle wanted. He wants experience. He doesn't want these coaches that need to have their hand held. He doesn't need these baby-ass coaches anymore. And he's making a stand. And this is Robert Saleh's guy. They coach together in the Jets. So before he was with the Jets, Boyer spent 4 seasons from 2012 to 2015 as an assistant special teams coach for the Indianapolis Colts. He helped guide the Colts unit to a top 10 rank in the NFL in yards per kickoff return, 4th, net yards per punt, 6th, and field goal percentage, 7th during that span. Wow. In 2014, Boyer worked with Pat McAfee, my boy, and kicker Adam Vinatieri, helping them earn AP first-team All-Pro honors. Boyer also coached long snapper Matt Overton to his first Pro Bowl of his career in 2013. Tabor, baby! He began his coaching career as a training camp intern for the Cleveland Browns in 2009 and the New York Giants in 2010. Let's go. That's a good coaching resume. And also, furthermore, he was originally a 6th-round draft pick by the Miami Dolphins, 177th overall. Boyer played linebacker and special teams for 11 seasons with the Dolphins. Wow. 1994, Jaguars, 95 to 2000, and Cleveland Browns, 01 to 2004. In 129 career games, he registered 250 tackles, 13 sacks, 15 passes defended, 6 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. He also appeared in 9 postseason contests with 2 starts and added 8 tackles. A dog, absolute dog. Great signing. I am fired up. That's amazing. Got a good coach on our hands. He coached with Robert Saleh. The good news about coaching with Robert Saleh, he can bring in his disciples. He could go bring in some of these free agents. And let's get to those free agents. They have Hassan Reddick, DJ Reed, Javon Kinlaw, Tyler Conklin, tight end 2. We need it. Tyron Smith, left tackle. Morgan Moses, Solomon Thomas, Ashton Davis, Leaky Fotu. He's a defensive lineman. Wes Schweitzer, he's a center. Isaiah Oliver, ain't no way. Chuck Clark. Those are probably the standout free agents. There's a few other ones, but I couldn't tell you who they were if you put a gun in my head. So 49ers, they're bringing in the Jets. They're going to bring in some of their players. Maybe they already brought in one of their coaches from that coach with Robert Saleh. This is good, man. The 49ers offseason is off to a fantastic start. And you know what else is great? 49ers aren't bringing back Nick Sorensen. I love to see it. I love to hear it. And they're getting rid of all the problems they had last year. The losing season lit a fire under the 49ers. They lit a fire under this damn team. You know what I mean? Oh, I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Gotta love it, man. Good stuff. Let's see. Let's take a look at some of these questions. Sounds like a great signing from Leon Sandcastle. Yep. April says, let the poaching begin. Let the poaching begin. We're going to poach, baby. It's poaching season. Poaching season. Julius says, how does he compare to other ST coaches? I mean, you heard the resume there. He sounds like he's a pretty good special teams coordinator. You know, there's special teams coordinator people. They interviewed a lot. They interviewed a lot of special team candidates, coaching candidates. And again, they like this guy. I think because he has the experience. He's coached next to Robert Salah. And, you know, I think that Salah wants at least some of his guys back. And it makes sense. When you go somewhere, you want to have some familiarity with your staff. So I think it's a good move for the 49ers. Julia says, when was the last time Niners had a top of the league special teams unit prior to hiring Boyer? That's a fantastic question. When was the last time you can remember the 49ers being top of the world in special teams? It feels like at least a decade. Like, I feel like the 49ers have not been good in special teams maybe over a decade. I mean, it just doesn't seem like they were good. I mean, I remember during the Harbaugh era, they had the Tony Montana squad. They were pretty ferocious. I can't tell you the exact stats because I'm not looking at them right now, but I do remember them being pretty damn good. They were hard hitters. You know, you feel like special teams made an impact when they had that Tony Montana squad, and they got you hyped up, you know. But other than that, I can't tell you the last time I remember like special teams going, oh yeah, they're going to make a difference. They're going to be a big time difference maker, because you have to be able to get field position. You have to make some critical plays and special teams, make your kicks, get good punts for field position, make some turnovers, hit them and fumble the ball. Like, look at last night's game. There was, you know, turnovers galore in the playoffs. Special teams was a big part of these playoff games, making field goals, making nice punts, you know, forcing a fumble on special teams. And I feel like the Niners just don't do that stuff enough. They're the ones that cough up the ball. They're the ones that miss the kick. They're the ones that make a mistake. So that's what the 49ers need to rectify and fix those problems. So Ashton Davis need that 4.4 speed at free safety, says Leon Sandcastle. I think he'd be a good player on this 49ers team at safety. They do need a safety. I mean, I know they got Malik Mustafa. We love him. He's a great player. I think he's going to be around for years. Jair Brown, he just didn't take that leap this year. I don't know. I'm questioning him. Talanoa Hufanga, will he be back? If he's not, they need to bring in some, you know, some safety depth. And also, you're right, Ashton Davis is fast, and we need that speed. You know, Hufanga's never been the fastest guy in the world. He's got great instincts, but he's lost a step after the injury. So Ashton Davis would be fantastic. Stephen Reynolds says, what about Clay Kubiak? There's no official word right now, but all signs point to him being the next 49ers offensive coordinator. They did interviews because they had to, because they got in trouble for not doing them, but they haven't announced the official word yet. But I'm pretty sure Clay Kubiak will be your next offensive coordinator. So where was the special teams ranked? They've been top of the league for several years, the Jets. I think we looked it up the other day. They're about mid part of the season. Let's take a look at Jets special teams ranking. I think we looked it up the other day. They were about middle of the pack, if I remember. Yeah, they were like 15, 16. And that was on a bad year. You know, last year, everything went bad for the Jets. So better than the Niners special teams. You know, we were pretty much ranked dead last. So it's definitely a improvement from the 49ers. But again, Boyer, when everything was going right with him and the Jets, and he's had some really good, you know, years as a special teams coordinator. Their special teams have been pretty good. So bring in Sauce is supreme. MSQ. So who's the guy the Niners will make their OC and the guy Seattle? I'm so lost. So, okay. As you know, we were just talking about Clint Kubiak. There's Clay Kubiak and Clint Kubiak. They're brothers. The brothers Kubiak. Clay Kubiak is going to be the 49ers offensive coordinator. Clay Kubiak. Clint Kubiak is going to be the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. So Clint, he went to Seattle. He's signed on as their OC. And Clay, he's the 49ers potential new OC. They just haven't officially made it. So the brothers Kubiak, from the legendary Kubiak family, you know, a lot of coaching in their history. And now you're going to have them being rivals on rival teams, being offensive coordinators. So that's what's going down. Kubiak. Get to know that. It's a crazy name. Gary Kubiak, I believe, was their father. Gary Kubiak, the father of Clint and Clay. Now they're both in the NFC West, Seattle 49ers, and they're both offensive coordinators. What a job he's done. He's raised 2 offensive coordinators in this NFL league. Crazy. MSQ says, I wouldn't mind Kinlaw and Thomas return for depth. I could see it. I don't know. I would be feeling weird if they left and then they came back as Niners. I could see that happening. They both actually had really solid years for the Jets last year, in terms of their career-wise. I think Javon Kinlaw had a career year for the Jets. He had 4.5 sacks last year. Solomon Thomas had 3.5 sacks. Both of those guys played a lot better than they ever had in their career with the Jets. But I think the Niners can do better. I think they need to get younger. I think they need to get better. But I wouldn't hate it as depth pieces. I agree with you on that one. Debtopia says, isn't Sauce on his rookie contract still? He is. He's got 1 more year on his rookie contract. You get him now for cheap, and then you extend him next year. So do it. Trade, make the move for Sauce. Could you imagine Renardo Green, De'Amon Lenoir, and Sauce Gardner? Come on. You can move Renardo into the slot. You can move De'Amon Lenoir outside. He can play slot too if he really needs to. And then you got Sauce out there on cornerback. Oh my God. That'd be fantastical. That would be my favorite move if they ever did it in the offseason. That would be crazy. Sauce wants to be a Niner. It's obvious, as David. Why wouldn't you want to be with Robert? Go back to your boy. Go to Robert. Bring in the Sauce, man. Rather just draft a guy like Walter Nolan, younger, cheaper, better. Yeah, I think that's the obvious choice for me too. Just go young in the draft and stock it up. They got a lot of talent this year in the draft. Let's see. Mason Graham would be phenomenal, says Baby Radiance. Yeah, if you look at there's some new odds that came out. I posted this on Twitter. There's a lot of odds that the 49ers are, they might go and grab a defensive lineman in the first round of the NFL draft because of the fact that Robert Saleh is now their, defensive coordinator. You got guys like Shamar Stewart, Abdul Carter, Mikael Williams, James Pierce Jr. Those guys, their chance of getting drafted to the Niners might be increased because Saleh is there at DC. And if they can land a top-notch offensive lineman, a tackle at 11, because let's say Will Campbell's off the board. Let's say Kelvin Sampson's off the board. What if those guys are off the board and you don't want to reach? So you go and take a star-studded defensive tackle. I mean, look at Mason Graham. If he falls to 11, you got to take it. So it's not a lock that they're going to take an offensive lineman. I would love it. I think we all would. But also we would love a dominating defensive lineman because the Niners need to get hard-nosed interior D linemen. They just haven't had it. They haven't stopped the run. If you watch these playoffs this weekend, teams that ran the ball were dominating. You run the ball, you hit people in the mouth, and then also if you have a nasty defensive lineman, you can stop the run or you can get to the quarterback. Those were the keys. It's in the trenches. Obviously, they need to protect their quarterback, but look at last night. Josh Allen, he was running for his life because they brought pressure. The Chiefs brought pressure. We talked about it last night. Spags was just bringing that blitz. No time for him to make a decision. Defensive line just crashed into him. Throws a prayer. He throws an off-balance pass. Dalton Kincaid obviously dropped it. But if you really look at that, it was a tough position. Josh throws a prayer. Defense just collapsed on him. I mean, the pressure to bring that blitz was insane. It's a crazy call, but that's Spags. He knows how to bring the blitz. He knows he can trust his lineman, and Dalton Kincaid misses the pass. So, got to get younger on the lines. I agree. Yep. Random non-football related question. What's a good brand to buy jeans? What brand do you guys buy? Let them know. Everybody buys different jeans. I don't know. What jeans do you guys want to tell them to wear? Y'all still wear Jean Co? Remember back in the day, Jean Co? Oversized. I could probably still wear my middle school Jean Co jeans. They're probably still too big for me. Howie Roseman loves those Georgia Bulldogs. He does. I think his whole D-line is Georgia Bulldogs. They're good, though. They're pro-level talent. Are there any O-line free agents that you're interested in signing? Let's take a look at the list. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you all the. Let's see. Free agent offensive lineman, 2025. Okay, let's see. 2025 free agent lineman. Ooh, let's see. Let's see. Offensive tackles. Let's see. Ronnie Staley from the Baltimore Ravens. Pretty damn good. He's been a pretty good player over his career. I know he's getting older, but he's definitely one of the top offensive tackles in the league over the last couple of years. And he'd be nasty to have. I know he had a bad injury a couple of years back, but he came back and he's looked really, really promising. He came back to form. So Ronnie Staley would be nice. See Cam Robinson, tackle from the Vikings. He looked pretty good. I would hate that one too. That's a pretty good one right there. Let's see, Tyron Smith. We talked about him from the Jets. He's a guy that could be coming along to the 49ers if he wants to join Robert Saleh. The only thing about him, he is a little bit older. He may not want to commit to a long-term contract because he's a little bit higher in the age department than these guys. Maybe a one-year deal. But Tyron Smith, he could come in and be a good depth piece. You got Alaric Jackson. He's from the Rams. I don't know if you guys remember him, but he was an undrafted free agent, and he's kind of carved a pretty good career out of his career so far. So let's see. Dan Moore, pass on him. Morgan Moses from the Jets could be a nice tackle signing as well. You can move him as maybe a swing tackle. He's been a consistent player. Jedrick Willis, from the Cleveland Browns. Not horrible signing. I mean, there's a lot of good free agent offensive linemen this year, honestly. So I would take any one of those guys because I feel like any one of those guys would probably, be pretty solid. But again, they have to be able to fit the system. You have to be able to fit the needs of what Kyle needs to do and be running. So that's why maybe Tyron Smith, he's a little older. We may not want him because of the age, You got to be able to be nimble on your feet quick. You got to be able to run, pull. And the offensive line for the 49ers, it's a tough scheme. They have to really, really get some solid quality players. So I want him to bring back Jalen Moore, actually. I didn't like this guy before, but he really impressed me last year, what's his name? Trent Williams was out for an extended period of time. So Jalen Moore got a lot of burn and a lot of action at tackle, and he played pretty well, I feel like. I think he's at least in line to be the swing tackle. I don't know if he's going to be a starter, but I definitely would keep Jalen Moore and keep him as a good depth piece because he proved himself to me last year. I thought he was better than Colton McKivitz, but he's got one more year, I believe, on his contract that he extended a couple years back. Going to have Colton, but I do need to see them upgrade at that right tackle spot. Let's see. Josiah Stewart from Michigan, crazy productive in a wide nine, and he can be in our system. Yeah, it'd be good. Brendel is still at odds. Brendel is still a starting center for the 49ers next season. I would probably bet a lot of money that Jake Brendel is not going to be your starting center for the 49ers. If they keep Jake Brendel as a starting center, I will be shook, man. You got to move on from him. He's just not a starter. He's a depth piece. He's, a guy that was a journeyman. He moved his way up, and it's a great story that he was able to start, and he gave us a serviceable year or so, but he's not a quality top of the line center. You see him in the playoffs, and he was getting moved around. They have to get a nice center either in the draft or free agency. But I would agree. I would probably think there's no chance that Jake Brendel is going to be your starting center next year. If he is, crazy. Moore did improve a lot, but he was cheeks at right tackle. Yeah, he's better at left tackle. That's why I say, you keep him on his depth because I can't see him starting for the 49ers unless Trent Williams is gone. But, you want to upgrade over Jalen Moore, a left tackle. So, yeah, get Pooney some help. I agree. Mock draft season, your favorite? Yeah, I know. I love mock draft season because everybody's projecting who's going to be with the Niners, and then none of them get selected. But any case, Niner fans, we had great news today. Brant Boyer is the new special teams coordinator for the 49ers, former Jet special teams coordinator. We'll see what happens the rest of the day, the rest of the week. Stay tuned. Appreciate your support. Go Niners. Brant Boyer, you are San Francisco 49er. Have a great day, everybody.